Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Happy 2026, Happy New Year. I hope this year brings you many beautiful blessings. For this video, I am going to be showing you how to Tunisian crochet a cat beanie in the round. This pattern is completely customizable, meaning you can choose any yarn, any hook size, and any Tunisian stitch that you want. For this tutorial, I decided to work with the Tunisian simple stitch because it's literally in the name. It's simple and it's very beginner friendly. For materials, you are going to need yarn, a hook with a cable, 2 bobby pins or stitch markers, tijeras, and a darning needle to weave in your ends. For reference, in this tutorial, I used 60 grams of 3-weight acrylic yarn and a 6mm hook with a 21-inch cable. For measurements, you are going to grab your measuring tape and you are going to wrap it around your head to get your head circumference. For me, I have 22 inches. Now, because we are working with the Tunisian simple stitch in the round, it tends to shrink. So we need to add an extra 1 to 2 inches to our original measurement so that our cat beanies can fit properly in our heads and not fit tightly. So if my head circumference is 22 inches, I'm going to add an extra 2 inches and that would give me a total of 24 inches. Okay, to begin, we are going to make a slip knot, and the way that I like doing it is by wrapping the yarn around my finger twice, and then I bring this front piece forward, this other piece over my finger, and then I tighten it, put it in my hook, and then I tighten it again. Now we are going to make a foundation chain that measures your head circumference plus the extra 1 to 2 inches. To make a chain, yarn over and pull through. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through. And once your chain gets longer, make sure that you are gently stretching your chain when you are measuring it. And I will show you. Oh my gosh, girl, get out of here. And I will show you how that looks like once I'm done. And if it's possible, try to end up with an even number of chains. You don't have to, but I prefer it that way. I am done chaining and I got a total of 60 stitches. This is how my chain looks before I stretch it. And once I stretch it, I should have 24 inches. This is the front of our chain. We are going to flip it to the back and we are going to work on these little bumps. We are going to skip our first chain bump and we're going to work into our second chain bump. Insert your hook under that bump, yarn over, and pull up a loop. You are going to leave this loop on your hook and you're going to repeat what we just did on the following chain. Insert your hook under that bump, yarn over, and pull up a loop. We are going to repeat this until we reach the end. When you reach the end of your chain, double check your work by counting your loops. You should have the same number of loops as your original chain. For example, if I started with 60 chains, I should have a total of 60 loops on my hook. Now we are going to start working in the round by connecting our last stitch to the first stitch we made. To do this, you are going to slide about half of your stitches to the end of the cable. So for me, that's 30 stitches, 60 divided by 2. This is my 30th stitch right here. You are going to pull the cable all the way through until these loops right here reach the end of your cable, like so. Before you connect anything, double check that your cable is not twisted. This will not work if your cable is twisted. If you want, you can place something heavy on top of the cable so that it doesn't move. We just don't want it to twist. I know this looks weird, but I'm just gonna put a book on top of my cable so that it doesn't move. And I'm gonna show you what to do now. You want to make sure that your loops are facing outwards and not inwards like that. You are going to bring these loops at the front towards you, and we are going to insert our hook into these 2 first loops, not 1, but 2. Insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops, like so. Now we are going to complete a return pass, which basically means yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2. And once you have your loops connected, you can get rid of that book if you placed one, and yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. We are going to repeat this until we have 1 loop left on our hook. Remember to bring your loops forward if you can't reach them anymore. Okay, I'm reaching the end and I have 1 loop left on my hook. Now we have to work into these loops that we separated earlier. To work into these, pull your hook upwards and then pull the cable towards you so that these stitches slide back into your hook. And continue the return pass like we've been doing. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, I'm about to reach the end. And there we go. I have 1 loop left on my hook. So far, your work should look like this. Everything should be connected. Your work should not be twisted. When you stretch it out, you should see these little things which are called vertical bars. You have a front vertical bar and a back vertical bar. And like I mentioned earlier, you can do whatever Tunisian stitch you want. I'm just going to keep them simple, and I'm going to go with the Tunisian simple stitch. To start, the loop already on your hook counts as your first stitch, so we are going to skip this vertical bar right here, and we're going to move on to our next vertical bar. You're going to insert your hook into this front vertical bar. Remember, there is a front and a back. You're going to insert your hook into the front one, yarn over, and pull up a loop. You should have 2 loops on your hook, which means you've made 2 stitches. You're going to move on to the following front vertical bar, insert your hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Insert your hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop. You are just going to repeat this all around until you get to your last stitch. Okay, I am making it to my last stitch, which is right here. I know it's hard to see, but do not skip it. To make sure everything looks right, make sure that you count all of your loops. You should have the same number of loops as your original chain. I started with 60 chains, so I should have 60 loops on my cable and hook. Now we are going to connect, same as before. You're going to insert your hook into the first 2 loops that are on your cable. Like so. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2. Next, we're going to do a return pass like normal. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. One helpful tip I want to give you when you're doing your return pass is to gently push your loops forward. Don't do it too hard like that, because then this happens. And this is fine, we can fix that. All you have to do is, I zoomed you guys out so you can see more clearly what I'm doing, but all you have to do if this happens is pull your hook upwards and then pull the end of your cable towards you until all of these loops slide back into your hook and that cable isn't popping out anymore. After you do that, you just complete the return pass like normal until you reach the end and only have one loop left on your hook. Okay, I made it all the way to the end, and that is literally it, you guys. From here, all you have to do is work the Tunisian simple stitch all around until you get the length that you want. Just in case, I'm going to show you how to do it one more time. Remember to not skip this front vertical bar. I remember when I first learned this technique, I was skipping the stitch, and when I would count all of my loops, I was like, why am I one off? Because I was skipping this stitch right here. So do not skip it. You are going to insert your hook under that front vertical bar, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Insert your hook into the following front vertical bar, yarn over, and pull up a loop. And you're going to repeat this all around. Okay, I am about to reach the end. Do not skip that last stitch either. I know it's hard to see, but it's there. Now we are going to do what we've been doing. You're going to insert your hook into these two first loops. Yarn over and pull through. And now you are going to complete your return pass like normal. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have one loop left on your hook. And that is literally it. Once your cat beanie is the length that you want, we are going to bind off. For reference, I made a total of 20 rows. I just count these little loops that are standing out. And if I measure it, I have just under 7.5 inches. We bind off so that our stitches don't unravel and to give our beanie a neat finish edge. And this will make it easier for when we seam the top of our beanie together. To bind off, we are going to skip this first front vertical bar and we are going to insert our hook into the next front vertical bar. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull this loop through the loop already on your hook to make a slip stitch. Now you are going to grab either your stitch marker or your bobby pin and you are going to mark that stitch. Insert your hook into the following front vertical bar, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull this loop through the loop already on your hook. You are basically going to be making slip stitches all around until you get to your last stitch, and make sure you don't make your slip stitches too tight. And if you want, you can actually get rid of that cable. I'm gonna get rid of it because the noise it's making, it's killing me. I am making it near the end. 2 more stitches. Once you make it to your last stitch, you're going to grab your second bobby pin or stitch marker and you are going to mark your last stitch. To join our round together, you are going to slip stitch into the first slip stitch we made, the one that we marked. You are going to take your bobby pin or stitch marker and you're going to move it over one. Slip stitch into that first slip stitch we made. We are not going to cut off. You are going to pull yarn and you are going to turn your cat beanie inside out. You are going to grab your yarn and you are going to push it through the inside of your cat beanie. Find that long loop, insert your hook back into that long loop of yarn. Now we are going to slip stitch the first 2 stitches that we marked. Insert your hook into that first stitch and then insert your hook into the other stitch across. You are going to yarn over and pull through those 2 stitches, and then this loop on your hook, pull it through the loop already on your hook. Sorry, slip stitch. You are going to slip stitch all across until your top is seamed up together. So insert your hook into the following stitch and then insert your hook under the stitch across. Pull up loop and pull this loop through the loop already on your hook. Oops. I find that this is way easier than cutting your yarn and then attaching the yarn again. Girl, no. We're not doing all that. After you're done slip stitching, you are going to chain 1 and leave a long tail to weave in and then cut your yarn. Pull through that yarn and then tighten it. Now we can turn our cat beanie inside out. This is how the top of our beanie should look like. And that is literally it, you guys. You are done. If you don't like the curling that's happening down here and you are using acrylic yarn, then you can grab a steamer and you can steam this curling away. Or if you're using cotton yarn, then you can wet it and then you pin it on a mat or whatever, and then the curling will be gone. I personally don't mind the curling, but you can do whatever you like. Remember to weave in your ends. You may notice in your foundation row that there's a little gap. To close that gap, just weave in your yarn tail to the other side so you can close it. If you want your cat beanie to look like this, I will show you how to change colors. You can change colors either on your return pass or forward pass. For this cat beanie, I decided to change colors on my return pass. We are going to begin just like before with half of your stitches on your hook and the rest on the cable. Make sure the cable is not twisted. I'm going to place book on top of that. Also make sure that your loops are facing outwards. You are going to insert your hook into these 2 loops to join. You are going to drop your working yarn and you're going to bring in your new color. Make a slip knot and place it on your hook. Tighten it. And you are going to pull through to attach the new color. Now you are going to complete a return pass like normal. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. You're going to repeat this until you have 1 loop left on your hook. Okay, I have 1 loop left on my hook, and we are going to do the same thing we did in the beginning. We have to work into these loops that we separated earlier. You are going to pull your hook upwards, and then you are going to pull on the end of the cable until all of those loops slide back into your hook. And you're going to complete a return pass like normal. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Until you have 1 loop left on your hook. I made it all the way back. Now we can do our forward pass. I am not going to change colors in my forward pass. I'm only going to do that in my return pass. But for now, I am going to do the Tunisian simple stitch all around until I get to my last stitch. Remember, don't skip that first front vertical bar. Now that I'm changing colors, it's a little bit easier to see those front vertical bars. I made it to my last stitch. Now we are going to connect the round. I'm also going to be changing colors. Remember, insert your hook into these first 2 loops. Now bring in your new color. Make a slip knot. Put it in your hook and tighten it. You're going to drop your working yarn, and you're going to be using your new color. And you're going to pull through this yellow yarn through the 2 first loops. You're going to repeat this until you have... What is this hair doing here? My gosh, I hate when that happens. Repeat this until you have 1 loop left on your hook. For my next return pass, I will show you what to do if you don't want to add a new color and you just want to work with the colors that you already have. Okay, I made it all the way back. Now we are going to complete our forward pass. You are going to Tunisian simple stitch all around like normal until we get to the last stitch. I made it to my last stitch. Now I'm going to insert my hook into these 2 loops. I'm going to drop my working yarn, and from here I'm going to pick the red yarn, which is the second color that I started with. From here you can either do 2 things. You can cut your yarn and leave a long tail to weave in and attach the yarn you cut off the same way that we've been doing, which is a slip knot and then placing it on your hook and pulling through. Or you can carry the yarn upwards like I'm doing and yarn over and pull through 2. This method will create little floats in the inside of your beanie. This is the method that I used for this beanie. I'm going to turn it inside out so that you can see the inside. You can see all of those little floats in there. Because these beanies are for me, I don't really care about the inside. But if you are going to give this to somebody and you want the inside to look a lot cleaner, then you can do the first technique I mentioned. Now I'm going to complete my return pass like normal, yarn over, and pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. I made it all the way back. I'm not going to continue working on this. I just made this to show you guys how to change colors. But from here, all you have to do is Tunisian simple stitch all around until you get the length that you want. And then you're going to bind off exactly like how I showed you previously. You can go back and look at the steps for that. When I bind off, I don't switch colors. I just work with the color that I was already working with. Literally nothing changes. The only thing that changes is that you probably now have a lot of ends to weave in, or a lot of little floats in the inside of your cat beanie. But that's literally it, you guys. Thankfully, it's not really that complicated. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, please comment them down below and I will try my best to answer them. I don't know what it is about Tunisian crochet and cat beanies, but they are just so addicting and satisfying to make. Dare I say it's more addicting than regular crochet. Anyways, I hope you have fun crocheting your cat beanies.